The third, so a long way to go in that one, and for Pete Rose. Atlanta leading Montreal 3-2. Happy to have American Forces Radio with us again tonight, so wherever you are in the world, hope you're ready to settle back and enjoy some baseball. The Royals and the Texas Rangers. Hope you enjoy it. With the play-by-play, my pleasure to introduce Denny Matthews.
Well, thanks, Fred. Hi, everybody. A very pleasant good evening to you. The Royals and the Rangers about to go at it in the final game of this brief two-game series. And Dennis Leonard makes his 23rd start, his third against the Rangers. He is 0-2 against Texas, having lost twice to the Rangers and Ferguson Jenkins. Mike Hargrove leading off. Mike hitting .260 with 5 homers, 27 RBIs. Mike, a left-hand batter. We mentioned last night a fine leadoff man in that he's a contact hitter who draws a number of walks. He had 70 base on balls, 9 of those against the Royals, 81 base hits. The first pitch of the night, low and inside, ball 1. Hargrove has 5 homers. One of those 5 home runs against the Royals. Mike, 5 out of 23 against Royal pitching. Juan Beniquez and Jim Sundberg to follow. Leonard works and throws a slider on the outside corner. Strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. They are just getting underway in Minnesota. The Yankees and the Twins. Ron Guidry, 13-1 against Derek Jackson, who is 2-2. The 1-1 pitch to Hargrove. Half swing and a fair ball flared down the left field line. Extra bases for Hargrove. Around first on his way to second base with a double. So Mike Hargrove trying to check his swing, made contact, and flared one over Brett and down the left field line.
Batting second, number 12.
Here is Juan Beniquez. The Texas center fielder batting .281. 5 homers, 25 batted in. Beniquez against the Royals this year, 4 out of 23. So Hargrove gets the Rangers started in the right direction. Beniquez now will try to get Mike Hargrove over to third base. That's the very least that he would like to accomplish in this turn of bat. Feet close together, close stance, and he takes inside, ball 1. Dennis lost to the Rangers in Arlington on April the 25th, 4-1. And he lost in Texas on June the 6th by the score of 2-1. Inside, ball 2, 2-0. His last outing was on Saturday at Yankee Stadium, and he beat the Yankees 8-2. Went all the way, allowed 8 hits, 2 runs. They were both unearned. 8 strikeouts and no walks. The 2-0 pitch. Over the plate to too low. Ball 3. 3-0 on Juan Beniquez. Jim Sundberg coming up next. Leonard has won 3 straight. He's 7-3 in his last 11 outings. 3 balls, no strikes to Beniquez. Strike on the inside corner, 3-1. In his 3-game winning streak, all complete games, he's allowed just 21 hits and 4 earned runs while striking out 15. So he's been pitching very well for the last couple of weeks. Beniquez trying to go to the right side, pecks it foul into the seats back of the Royal dugout. A full count now, 3-2. Leonard has pitched very well here at Royal Stadium. He has won 8, he's lost 3. And his earned run average here this year, 2.69. In fact, if you want to go back to the 8th of July last year, his record here at Royal Stadium, 15 wins and only 4 losses. So he's been extremely tough here in Kansas City. Beniquez flares one down the right field line. This one, however, slicing out of play into the seats. And Beniquez still up there, 3-2. Royals continue to lead the Angels by a half game in the American League West. The Royals shooting for their 6th in a row. This is the longest winning streak the Royals have had since May the 23rd to June the 1st, when they won 7 straight. Runner at second, then out. 3-2 on Juan Beniquez, the pitch. Breaking ball struck him out. So he came all the way back. The count was 3-0 on Beniquez. And And Leonard continued to throw strikes. Benicus fouled up a couple of pitches. And finally, Leonard got him with a breaking ball, and there's one away. Now the Texas catcher, Jim Sundberg. Jim batting .312 with 2 home runs and 30 RBIs. He's 7 out of 29 against the Royals, 4 RBIs. Right-hand batter. Sundberg is the cover boy on this week's issue of the Sporting News. Darrell Porter drops down a sign. Here's the stretch by Leonard. A backward glance at second. In comes a fastball, and it's blowing outside, ball 1. Talking about streaks, the Royals have won 8 of their last 9, and they've won 10 of their last 12. They have a 4-game winning streak here at home, and they've won 6 out of 7 here. Sundberg, a tardy swing, and he missed, and the count on Jim 1-1. So the Royals have several streaks going, and they are all very profitable streaks. 1-1, the count to Jim Sundberg, right-hand batter who straddles the plate. Hargrove at second, 1 away, the pitch. Breaking ball, he started to go, held up in time. And the count on Jim 2-1. The Royals appealing to the first base umpire, Joe Brinkman, who said no, he did not swing. The on-deck hitter is Al Oliver. 2-1 on Jim Sundberg. Leonard, a backward glance at second. In comes the pitch. Way low and outside and backhanded out of the dirt by Darrell Porter. And it's 3-1. Dennis a little bit wild here in the first inning. Now the stretch. Here comes the pitch. Ground ball. Brett backs up for a big hop. Now a long throw in time. So Hargrove still at second base. And here is Al Oliver. Oliver hitting .301.
Al Oliver.
Al last night singled and doubled. He was 2 out of 4 with the run scored. 78 hits. He has 9 home runs, 44 RBIs. Against the Royals this year, 8 hits, 8 out of 25. Former National Leaguer, Al played with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Boy, he's a tough out. A swing and a foul tip as he went after a hard fighter. And the count 0-1. Mike Hargrove, a leadoff double, a check swing double. The drop fair down the left field line. He's at second with 2 down. The 1-strike pitch to Oliver. Grounded off the glove of Leonard. Potek picks it off. But by that time, Oliver crossing the bag at first. But Leonard, by deflecting the ball, saved a run. He deflected it straight up into the air, but if it got by Dennis Leonard, it is questionable whether Frank White or Freddie Potek could have flagged it down before it rolled on into center.
Designated hitter.
So Leonard has preserved the shutout, at least for the moment. And up comes Bobby Bonds. Bonds batting .259. He hit a 3-run home run last night. He has 13 homers. The stretch and the pitch. Slider low and outside, ball 1. So a blue opposite field double by Mike Hargrove, and now an infield single by Al Oliver. Runners at the corners, 2 down, 1 ball, no strikes on Bobby Bonds. Leonard at the belt pitches. Swung and he missed. Leonard with a breaking ball to Bonds, and it's 1-1. Bobby Bonds against the Royals. 7 for 21, 3 homers, 9 RBIs. So he's been the big man in the Texas attack against Royal pitching this year. Hargrove at third. Al Oliver at first, 2 down, 1 ball and 1 strike. Leonard checking to see where the runners are. Now the pitch. A high, towering drive to center. Back goes Otis with plenty of room. Under the ball, makes the catch, and that's the inning. Boy, it wasn't an easy inning for Leonard. He had to battle all the way. But the Rangers come up empty. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 left. And after half an inning, Rangers nothing. Royals coming up.
Pete Rose, an old pro at the plate, and Jim Cott, the older pro on the mound, will be facing each other at Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia tonight. In fact, Cott has gotten Rose out on 2 infield grounders so far in the ball game, with the Reds leading, as you heard a moment ago from the Royals broadcasters. Pistol Pete will be gunning for his 33rd straight game with a hit. The 37-year-old third baseman of the Cincinnati Reds ran his streak to 32 with a bunt single in the 9th inning Wednesday night against the Phils. Cott, who is 39, will pitch for the Phillies, we said this evening. He is pitching. Jim has a 5-2 record this year. His mound rival Tom Hume is 4-9 for the Reds. Rose is 5 games shy of the National League record of 37 straight games hitting safely, held by former Boston Braves and Brooklyn Dodgers outfielder Tommy Holmes. The Major League mark of 56 in a row set by the Yankee Clipper Joe DiMaggio in 1941, still far over the horizon. Behind Joe is Willie Keeler, the National League, way back in 1897-44. The great George Sisler of the American League in 1922 with 41. Ty Cobb of the Tigers, 1911-40. Holmes, 1945 with 37. The younger brother of Joe DiMaggio, the little professor they called him, with the Boston Red Sox, 1949, Dom has 34. The great Rogers Hornsby of the National League, 1922, has 33. Tied with outfielder Honey Manouche, who has 33. He played in the American League. Pete, of course, has 32. I had the opportunity of seeing Honey Manouche play, along with Rogers Hornsby, Dom DiMaggio, Tommy Holmes, and, of course, Joe DiMaggio, along with Pete Rose.
Bottom of the first inning, no score. The Royals come to bat against right-hander Doyle Alexander. Alexander 6-5 with an earned run average of 4.46. It will be George Brett, Hal McRae, and Pete Lecoq in that order. Doyle Alexander facing the Royals for the 3rd time this season. He beat the Royals at Arlington Stadium on June the 8th. Final score 5-4. He went 7 innings, allowed 5 hits and 3 runs. He allowed only 1 hit through the first 7 innings. But then he ran into trouble in the 8th inning and had to be bailed out by Roger Moret and finally Reggie Cleveland. The Royals beat Alexander here at Royal Stadium on June the 13th, 5-0. They got to him for 5 runs, 11 hits in 6 innings. Last year against the Royals, Doyle was 2-1, and lifetime he is 7-5. Richie Hebner has homered for the Phillies in the 4th inning with nobody on, his 10th. And the Phillies are leading Cincinnati 4-2. They're having rain problems in Chicago. Fred mentioned the fact that the Cub game had a couple of rain delays and was finally suspended. Well, Baltimore and the White Sox having trouble at Comiskey Park. This is one of those rare days when both the Cubs and the White Sox are playing in Chicago. The schedule maker, tries to avoid, for instance, the White Sox and the Cubs being at home on the same day. You will rarely find the Yankees and the Mets scheduled on the same day in New York. Likewise, the Angels and the Dodgers down in Southern California. They're also having rain problems in Milwaukee. Boston, Milwaukee delayed due to rain, and they have a tremendous crowd at County Stadium. And they'll do everything within their power to get that ball game in up in Milwaukee. So we'll keep tabs on those games for you. George Brett up there, Doyle Alexander's first pitch, breaking ball, waved at and missed, 0-1. George batting .305 with 4 home runs, 39 RBIs. He's 8 for 36, 5 RBIs against Texas. No score, bottom of the first inning. Alexander's fastball way outside, and the count 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike on George Brett. Doyle Alexander's pitch. High and away, ball 2, 2-1. Doyle Alexander has not won a game since June the 23rd, when he beat the Angels 8-4. Sprayed foul. And the count 2-2 on George. Alexander's last good outing was on the 28th of June in Oakland when he went 10 innings, allowed 8 hits. He was not involved in the decision, but he's been battered about in his last 3 outings. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Foul ball backing out of play, and it's still 2-2 on George. Brett has hit in 11 of his last 13 games, going 18 for 58. Leads the American League in doubles with 30. He's also tied for 5th place in the league in triples. He has 5 to match his uniform number. 2-2 to George. The outfield shading him to left. Alexander ready and pitches. High ball 3-2. Doyle Alexander, a finesse pitcher. And he comes to Brett in a fly ball, pretty well hit to left center. Back goes Al Oliver to the warning track, and he one-hands it. So Brett hit it a long way to the opposite field, and Al Oliver able to run it down. And the wind did not help that ball one bit. The breeze is coming in from left center tonight. Here's Hal McRae. Back hitting .265, 10 home runs, 42 RBIs. Hal has a 7-game hitting streak going, 10 for 30. He's also hit safely in 10 of his last 11. 6 out of 32 against the Texas Ranger pitching staff. So they've handled Hal pretty well. Strike called. Alexander got the outside corner. Doyle Alexander's road record this year, 3-1. Fly ball, well hit to deep center. Back goes Juan Benitez. Near the warning track, he's got it. So 2 long drives, Brett to deep left center, and now Hal McRae to straightaway center. But 2 Royals are gone in the first, and the batter, Pete Lecoq. Pete's batting average is .280. 4 home runs, 24 RBIs. In his last 11 games, Pete has 17 hits and 14 RBIs. Bases empty, 2 gone, no score, bottom of the first inning. Second and final game of the series. The Royals winning big last night. Outside ball 1. Last night, the Royals got 2 in the second and then 7 runs in the third. And back of Rich Gale went on to win it 11-4. 1 ball, no strikes on Pete Lecoq. He turned it over and it's outside. Ball 2, 2-0. That is his change. He'll turn it over or give the wrist an inverted twist, act like a screwball, although it is not a true screwball. Inside ball 3, 3-0. And Alexander grumbling at the plate umpire, Dale Ford. Throughout his career, Alexander's been very tough on right-hand batters, that he has let some lefties get to him, so he came up with that pitch, the semi-screwball. Outside corner strike called, 3-1. He is basically a sinker-slider type pitcher. In comes the pitch. Outside corner, strike 2. So Alexander nibbling away has now come back to run the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Pete Lecoq. Amos Otis in the on-deck circle, hopeful of hitting here in the first. The 3-2 pitch to Pete. Pop fouled out of play on the third base side. Shooting for their 50th win of the year. Their record at the moment, 49 wins, 41 losses. 3-2 to Pete. Doyle Alexander leaning in, reading signs. Now ready and pitches. High pop foul. Jim Sundberg off with the mask, but he'll have no play. The ball lands atop the netting. Still 3-2 on Lecoq. Tomorrow night, the Boston Red Sox fall split-off against Dennis Eckersley. Saturday afternoon, remember. 1:20 is game time. It is not a night game on Saturday. The 3-2 pitch. Foul ball. This one will land amongst the customers down the left field line. There is also a time change on the Monday night encounter against the Yankees. It is not a 7:35 game. It will start at 7:10. The Royals on national TV Saturday afternoon and Monday night, hence the time changes. Pete lines one over the glove of Campaneris, not into left center. Over goes Al Oliver to hold Pete at first. Pete Lecoq lined one hard, just out of the reach of Bert Campaneris. Campy leaping high to try to pull it down, but it may have just barely ticked the glove, no more. And so Amos Otis will bat here in the first inning. Amos with a 7-game hitting streak like Cal McRae. Odie has 8 hits in his last 28 trips, and that includes 7 runs scored, a pair of homers, and 7 RBIs. His slugging percentage of .515 ranks him 9th in the American League, and he had some road trips. Slider hit hard on the ground, but right at Toby Harrah. Toby throwing to second for the force out on Lecoq. And that's the inning. So Harrah to Wills. 1 hit, no runs, a man left. And after 1 inning, no score.
Getting back to Tommy Holmes, who has right now the mark that Pete Rose won, 37 straight games he hit in successfully, consecutively. 1945, Rose 32, 33 going into tonight's game, hoping for 33. Tommy Holmes isn't rooting for Pete Rose to break his National League consecutive game hitting record, but he is happy a player of the Cincinnati Red Stars caliber is making the challenge. It's funny, said the 60-year-old Holmes, who set the mark of 37 games with the old Boston Braves in 1945. Only a few weeks ago, a fellow asked how I'd feel if somebody broke the record, and I said if it happened, I only hoped it would be by someone like Rose. I'll be honest, added Holmes, who now works in community relations for the New York Mets. I don't want to see him break my record, but if he does, I'll take my hat off and shake his hand. Rose extended his hitting streak to 32 games with a 2-out 9th-inning bunt single in the Reds' 7-2 victory over the Phillies on Wednesday night. His 32-game streak is the longest in the major leagues since 1949, when Dom DiMaggio, the Boston Red Sox, hit safely in 34 consecutive games. Said Holmes, I recall that there was no pressure at all on me for 23 or 24 games, but I remember how I felt when I tied Roger Hornsby's then modern National League mark of 33 straight games. I looked up his record and found here was a guy who had a .358 lifetime batting average for 23 years in the big leagues. I felt very humble. Holmes batted .352 in the year he set the National League mark in 1945.
Well, we go to the second inning, no score for the Texas Rangers. It will be Richie Zisk, Toby Harrah, Bump Wills to face Dennis Leonard. Richie Zisk, a .260 hitter. He has 13 home runs, 51 RBIs. 6 out of 27 against the Royals for the year. 3 RBIs and a home run. Richie Zisk. Leonard's pitch, good fastball in the outside corner, strike 1. Rangers got an infield single from Oliver, a double from Hargrove in the first. Good breaking ball, strike 2. Leonard struggled with his control a bit in the first inning, but he's out in front of Zisk, and the 0-2 pitch, low and outside, 1-2. Dennis recorded 1 strikeout in the first inning. He got Juan Benitez. 1-2 the count. He struck him out. Richie Zisk foul tipped. It was held by Darrell Porter. So Leonard has 2 Rangers on strike. Here's Toby Harrah. Toby back in the lineup. Kurt Bavacqua played last night. Toby's had a bad rib, but he's in there tonight. Toby batting .216, 4 home runs, and 28 RBIs. So Toby has really struggled this year. He's a much better hitter than .216. Signal given by Darrell Porter. The line by Leonard and the pitch to the right-hand hitting Toby Harrah. Fouled back to the screen, and he had a good cut. The Yankees got 2 runs in the first inning at Minnesota. Minnesota failed to score in the bottom of the first against Ron Guidry. So after 1, the Yankees 2, Twins nothing. The 0-1 pitch to Toby Harrah. Popped up. On the infield, Frank White making the call, moving toward first base. Frank's got it. Toby Harrah's gone. 2 Rangers are out. And we shall pause right here for station identification. This is the Kansas City Royals Radio Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
is Denny Matthews, along with Fred White and producer-engineer Ed Shepard at Royals Stadium. Royals and the Rangers, no score in the top of the second inning. The batter switch-hitting Bump Wills. A late swing and a foul ball into the crowd, back of third, 0-1. Bump hitting .222, 5 homers, 31 batted in. After 4 innings in Philadelphia, the Phillies 5, Cincinnati 2. The one-strike pitch. Change is outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. After 5 up in Montreal, Atlanta 3, and the Expos 2. Atlanta got 3 in the second. Montreal got 2 in the second. Breaking stop. Wills a swing and a miss. And the count 1-2 to Bump. Base is empty, 2 down in the top of the second. The outfield shading Wills toward left. Here's the 1-2 pitch. He struck him out. Slider down and in. 3 strikeouts for Leonard, 2 in the inning. 1, 2, 3 and out. We go to the bottom of the second. Royals nothing. Rangers nothing.
Let's look closer at the games played in the afternoon. It's takeoff games, actually, for a lot of these teams. I was checking the schedule for Friday, and these teams playing in the afternoon, the majority of them had long ways to go from coast to coast, either from east to west or vice versa. So that's the reason for some of the afternoon games. At the Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, Phil Garner scored from third base when pitcher Terry Forster threw wild past first base in the bunt with 1 out in the 10th inning, enabling the Pittsburgh Pirates to score a 7-6 victory over the Los Angeles Dodgers. Ed Ott led off the 10th by beating out an infield hit off Foster. He was forced at second by Gardner, trying to sacrifice, but Bruce Keeson singled past third baseman Lee Lacy, who was expecting a bunt. Frank Tavares hit a chopper that Forster fielded, but he threw past Steve Garvey at first, allowing the winning run to score. Again, the Pirates beat the Dodgers at Pittsburgh 7-6. At Busch Stadium, St. Louis, pinch hitter Tony Scott and George Hendrick had run-scoring singles off San Diego reliever Robbie Fingers in the 7th inning to give the St. Louis Cardinals a 3-2 victory over the Padres. Fingers now 4-11 replaced John DeAquisto to start the 7th, and Gary Templeton singled with 1 out. Jerry Mumphrey walked, and Templeton scored on Scott's single. Mumphrey scored the winning run on Hendrick's single. And Joe Youngblood pinch hit double scored Willie Montanez with 1 out in the 11th inning to give the New York Mets a 5-4 victory. A doubleheader sweep for the Houston Astros. The Mets won the opener 7-4 when John Stearns drove in 4 runs with a bunt single and a bases-loaded double.
Getting set to hit in the bottom of the second inning for the Royals, Darrell Porter, Clint Hurdle, Tom Poquette. No score. No runs on 2 hits for Texas. No runs, 1 hit for the Royals. Darrell Porter batting .280. 8 home runs, 42 RBIs. Left-hand batter. Darrell is 9 out of 31 against Texas pitching. 2 RBIs. Darrell's been busy in his last 13 games, having scored 12 runs and having driven in 12 others. Foul ball into the club section, back of third, and it's 0-1. In those 13 games, Porter has 5 doubles and a couple of home runs. The 1-strike pitch from Doyle Alexander. Change up, he didn't mean to do it. A little roller back to the mound. Alexander flips to Hargrove. And Darrell Porter's gone. Up comes Clint Hurdle. Clint hitting .258, 3 home runs, 33 RBIs. Hurdle last night, 2 singles and a triple. He drove in 2 and scored 1. Doyle Alexander's pitch, big breaking curveball, finds the strike zone, 0-1. Clint is 5 out of 19 against Texas with 4 batted in. The 1-strike pitch. Breaking ball, low and outside, and it's 1-1. The Rangers 4-4 on their current road trip, and they need a victory to give them only their 2nd winning road trip of the year. Foul tipped up against the mask of Jim Sundberg. The Rangers have been on the road 6 times prior to this trip, and their road record's 1-6. Then they had a 4-2 trip, then 4-4, 1-2, blowing inside the hurdle 2-2. Then they were 1-3 and 2-6. And as we've said, 4-4 on this trip at the moment. So their road record this year, 17-27. After 44 road games last year, they were 24-20. Flett chasing a breaking ball, swings and misses, down he goes. So Porter and Hurdle go rather quietly, and up comes Tom Poquette.
That is 7.
So the one big difference in the Rangers this year, one of the differences, certainly their road record. They have really struggled on the road so far this year. Whereas at this point last year, they had dazzled some people. Tommy Poquette hitting .222, a couple of homers, 19 RBIs. He's at .286 against the Texas Rangers. Alexander leaning in, reading signs. Here's the pitch to the left-hand batter, low and outside, ball one. No score, bottom of the second inning. Nobody on, 2 out, 1-0, the count on Tom Poquette. Alexander works. A late swing and a foul ball, dropping among the customers down the left field line. One ball and one strike on Tom Poquette. The Boston Red Sox here tomorrow night, Saturday and Sunday afternoon. The Yankees Monday and Tuesday night. The Seattle Mariners Wednesday and Thursday night. Breaking ball stayed very high and outside. He tried to break off a big slow curve. Extremely hot and humid here at the ballpark. There is a breeze drifting in from left center field, out of the northeast. 2-1, 2 out, the pitch to Poquette. Line to left field. Al Oliver will have to play it on one hop. And the Royals have their second hit. With 2 out in the first inning, Pete LeCoq singled just over the glove of the shortstop Campaneris. And now it's 2 out here in the second. Tom Poquette lines one in front of Al Oliver. Here's Freddie Patek. Fred hitting .281, 1 home run, 36 RBIs. Freddie Patek in his last 16 games, a .339 hitter, 24.59. Tom Poquette a pretty good lead. Here's the pitch to Freddie. It's a strike. It's off the inside corner. 0-1. Tom Poquette, not that much a threat to steal, not at all. Tom has just 1 stolen base. Alexander checks him out, pitches to Patek. A little roller to third. Toby Harris got it. A toss to Mike Hargrove in time, and that's the inning. 1 hit, no runs, a man left. And after 2 innings at Royal Stadium, no score.
More of that game at Wrigley Field, Chicago, that was held up for over 2 hours because of rain. As you know, that's the only park in Major League Baseball without light, so they finally had to call the game because of darkness. Jack Clark's single in the 8th inning put the San Francisco Giants ahead of the Chicago Cubs 9-8 in a game that was suspended by darkness and will have to be resumed the next time the two teams meet. Since the Giants don't visit Chicago again this year, the game will be resumed with 2 outs in the Giants' 8th on Friday night, July 28th, at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. The game was delayed 3 times by rain for a total of 2 hours and 8 minutes. Clark's single scored John Tamargo, who opened the 8th on a single, moved to second base on a sacrifice. Bruce Sutter then relieved Donnie Moore and got Terry Whitfield on an infield out, which sent Tamargo to third base. Clark then singled to left for the go-ahead run. Clark also hit a 2-run homer in the 3rd, and the Giants scored 6 runs in the 5th off 4 Chicago pitchers. Singles by Whitfield and Larry Herndon, a sacrifice fly by Willie McCovey, and a walk to Roger Metzger with the bases loaded, tying the game at 6-6. Mike Ivey followed with a 2-run single to put the Giants ahead 8-6. The Cubs tied to score at 8-8 in the 7th on a pinch hit RBI single by Gene Klein. Chicago took a 5-0 lead after 2 innings. Pair Bearers led to the Cubs' first run, and their second came on a run-scoring single by Larry Fitzner. In the second frame, Chicago scored on the sacrifice fly by Jerry White and a 2-run double by Bill Buckner.
Shortstop.
We go to the 3rd inning, no score. The hits evened up at 2 apiece. Bert Campaneris leads off, and here's Fred.
Thank you, Denny. Campy hitting .215, rips one into left field towards the corner, and it's going to be extra bases up against the wall. Campaneris around first, tearing into second base, and he'll go in standing up at the double. Campy hit the ball hard 3 times last night and got nothing to show for it. He lined to left, lined to center, lined to short, and hit it on the nose all 3 times. And boy, he just blistered one into the left field corner. So the Rangers have picked up their 3rd hit, their first solid hit of the ball game. And it's back to the top of the order, Mike Hargrove, who doubled to start the game. It was a check swing double down the left field line. Campaneris was a bullet. So Campy really swinging the bat well right now. And for the moment, you can forget about Campaneris' .215 average. He's hitting the ball hard every time up. Hargrove, left-handed batter ready to pitch. Fly ball, well hit to right. Back goes Clint Hurdle with some room. He's there. Got it. Campaneris tagging, is heading for third. Here comes the throw from Hurdle, and Campaneris is in standing up. So Hargrove flies to right. But he moves Campaneris to third. He's there with 1 man out. And the Rangers threaten to take the lead here in the top of the 3rd. Juan Beniquez the hitter. Leonard struck him out his first time up. Beniquez a .279 hitter. He's 2 for 7 against Dennis Leonard this year. And Leonard needs exactly what he got the first time around with Beniquez, a strikeout again. Beniquez, a right-handed hitter who really crowds the plate. He was nicked by a pitch last night, in fact. The stretch by Leonard, the pitch. Breaking ball for a strike. Royals have the infield in. Here's the stretch again by Leonard to pitch. Chopper up the third baseline foul. And Leonard has Beniquez in the hole, 2 strikes. After an inning, the Yankees lead the Twins 2-0. That was the score they beat them by last night. They're in the bottom of the 3rd now in Minnesota. 2 strikes to Beniquez. Leonard trying to shake off the Rangers here in the 3rd. Right-hander into the stretch. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to Frank White. They're going to keep the runner at third. Throw the first 2 away. So the Royals pull the infield in and it worked. Beniquez hit it rather sharply right at Frank White. He took a quick step to his right to make the play. Look, Campy back at third. So the infield can drop back to normal position. 2 out now with a man at third. And here's Jim Sundberg, who grounded out to third his first time up. Cincinnati scored 3 runs in the 5th. They have tied Philadelphia 5-5. Pitch to Sundberg is a strike. All we know about Pete Rose so far is that he was 0 for 2. Montreal 5, Atlanta 3 after 6. Chris Fire homered in the 6th with 2 on for Montreal, his 4th of the year. Stretched by Leonard. Checks Campy at third to pitch. Sundberg takes inside and it's 1-1. Sundberg against Dennis Leonard this year. 1 hit and 7 at bats. Boy, he's made himself into a good hitter. He's hitting .311. Royals shade him the opposite way. Leonard picks up a sign from Porter. Here's the stretch. Now the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, and he's in the hole 1-2. Sundberg asking the plate umpire, Dale Ford, whether he went after a strike or not. It was a breaking ball that was sailing out away from him. So Leonard has him in the hole. 0-0, top of the 3rd. Leonard again picks up a sign. Here's the stretch. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Little chopper up the third base line. A slow roller. It's a fair ball. A base hit and a run scored. George Brett could do nothing but let it roll. And the ball was fairly fair. And the Royals had no play anywhere. Campaneris crosses the plate. Sundberg gets an infield single, an RBI. And the Rangers lead 1-0. And here's Al Oliver, who singled his first time up off the glove of Dennis Leonard. There was nothing Brett could do except let it roll and hope it would go foul. It did not. The pitch to Oliver. Foul back to the screen, and he had a cut. 1 strike to count. Oliver's been tough on the Royals. 9 hits and 26 at bats. His average on the year, 304. Right up at the front of the batter's box is Oliver, a left-handed batter. Easy throw to first. Sundberg back in time. Leonard at the belt. Checks Sundberg. The pitch to Oliver. Pop foul. Back and out of play again. 2 strikes to count. Leonard now with Oliver in the hole, 0-2. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball. He tried to check his swing, and the base umpire says he did. Nick Lindigan said he didn't go around. So it's 1-2. Boy, Oliver started after it, and that pitch came looking for his letters. Just kept boring in on him. Snap throw to first. Sundberg back again. A leadoff double by Bert Campanera. An infield single by Jim Sundberg have given the Rangers the lead here in the top of the third. Royals have won 10 of their last 12, and this is one of the few times they've even trailed in those ballgames. Leonard ready again. Here's the stretch. 1-2 pitch. Now Oliver. Struck him out. Innings over. Strikeout number 5 for Dennis Leonard. The Rangers get a run on 2 hits. They leave a man. We go to the bottom of the third. The Rangers 1, the Royals nothing.
Let's check some other sports now. With baseball, the White Sox today recalled infielder Kevin Bell from their Iowa Farm Club in the AAA American Association and sent first baseman Jim Brazil to the Iowa team. Bell, 23, played 9 games for the White Sox last year before suffering a severe knee injury on June 20th. He played in 25 games for the Iowa club this year, getting 26 hits, including 7 homers, for a batting average of .283. Brazil had a .208 batting average with the Sox this year. Meanwhile, the Montreal Expos designated infielder Wayne Garrett was sent for reassignment to open the position for newly acquired outfielder first baseman Tom Hutton. The Expos have 10 days to determine disposition of Garrett's contract. Hutton, 32, was acquired Thursday from the Toronto Blue Jays for future consideration. He is expected to join the Expos Friday. Hutton hit .253 in 64 games for the Blue Jays in 1978. The Expos also announced left-handed pitcher Rudy May was put on the 21-day disabled list because of a severe strain of the left ankle. Some other deals made. Milwaukee sent second baseman Len Sakata to Spokane of the AAA Pacific Coast League. Toronto recalled outfielder Al Woods from Syracuse of the International League. And Detroit optioned pitcher Steve Baker to Evansville of the American Association. Recalled pitchers Kip Young and Ed Glenn from Evansville.
Bottom of the third, the Rangers lead the Royals 1-0. And Pete Rose just banged a single, his third at bat against the Phillies, and his hitting streak has now gone to 33 games. Pete Rose has hit in 33 straight. For the Royals in the bottom of the third, it's going to be Frank White, George Brett, and Al McRae. Frank up for the first time in the game, hitting .287, 3 homers and 29 RBI, safely in 12 out of his last 13 ball games. And he's been the Royals' best hitter against Doyle Alexander. He's 4 for 5 against the Texas right-hander. Alexander sets the pitch. Popped up, shallow right center field. Richie Ziff coming in, bump Wills out. Wills, the second baseman, makes the catch. And on the first pitch of the inning, Frank White gone, and it's back to George Brett, the leadoff man. A belated happy birthday tonight we want to pass along here to Ethel Brookshire of Polo. Ethel celebrated her 93rd last night. She's a great Royals fan, and Ethel, we just missed it last night. We're sorry, so accept our apologies and our happy birthday greetings tonight. And we want to say hello to one of the best sports writers in the Midwest who regularly covers the Royals, but is in Research Hospital right now, Charlie Smith. Charlie, we hope you're back with us as soon as possible. It's either catching in a doubleheader or his putter. We figured to put Charlie in. We hope he's back quickly. Pitch to Brett. Slipped foul on a play. 1 strike to count. George got a fly ball to a warning track in left his first time up, but was out. Alexander shakes off a sign, says yes to 1, and throws. The ball misses. 1-1, rolls away from Sunburn. We mentioned that we're on American Forces Radio tonight. And hopefully listening on Okinawa tonight, Mike and Linda Scott. And if so, Mike and Linda, if you're there, your family back here just sends along their best wishes to you. Wherever you are in the world tonight, we're happy to have you with us. 1-1 pitch to Brett. Reaching for it is a shallow fly ball in left, and Al Oliver's camped under it. Makes the catch. 2 Royals are gone. Boy, Doyle Alexander has had the Royals off stride. Here's Al McRae, who hit a bolt to the warning track in center, but was out his first time up. Rangers, the bottom of the third. They've out hit the Royals 4-2. Al McRae with a 7-game hitting streak going. Right-hander against right-hander, the pitch. Mack taking all the way up to strike. Al hitting .264, 10 homers, and 42 RBI. Alexander ready to pitch. Ball low, 1-1. Royals working on a 5-game winning streak. They've won 10 of their last 12 and moved into first place in the American League West. They lead the California Angels by a half game. McRae lines one towards the gap in right center field, and there's nobody there. Benitez over to cut it off. Al McRae's going to try for 2. Here he is, the throw. Great. His 23rd of the year. Al McRae never hesitated. With Benitez cutting the ball off in the gap in right center, Matt came tearing around first base with his head down. And he's at second base with his 23rd double of the year. He has an 8-game hitting streak, and more importantly, he represents the tying run with 2 out in the bottom of the third with Pete Lecoq up there. Pete lined a single left his first time up. Boy, the crowd here in Royal Stadium is all of a sudden starting to make a little noise. The pitch to Lecoq. Breaking ball for a strike. We have American Forces Radio with us. All of you around the world will try to get you up to date on all the standings and all the scores tonight. Your favorite team probably involved in it somewhere. The pitch. Drills to Hargrove, and he's out. Lecoq hit a line drive, but Mike Hargrove, the first baseman, with a quick step to his right, picked it off. And the Royals deny it here in the third. No runs ahead, a man left. To the fourth we go. The Rangers 1 and the Royals nothing.
Looking at golf today at Philadelphia, Hubert Green, a top money winner on the tour, returned to the area where he was a young club pro to shoot a 6-under par 65 for a 1-stroke lead over British Open champion Jack Nicklaus after the first round of the Philadelphia Golf Classic. Green, former assistant pro at the nearby Marion Golf Club, used an eagle 3 on the par 5 fifth hole and 5 birdies and only 1 bogey to jump into the lead in the race for the $50,000 first-place money in the PGA designated tournament at the White Marsh Valley Country Club. Nicklaus, in his first week back in the U.S. since his British Open victory, birdied 4 of the last 5 holes for a 66 to move into contention in the tournament, and he won back-to-back in 1964-65. Those at 67 included Ben Crenshaw, Hale Irwin, Bill Rogers, Mike Morley, David Graham, Bruce Lipsky, local area pro Dick Smith, and tour rookie Jim Neilford, a 24-year-old native of British Columbia who turned to golf because he wanted to be a pro in some sport. And back at 68 was this year's top money winner, Andy Bean. Current Open champion Andy North shot a 70. Green, a 31-year-old native of Alabama who won the Classic in 1974 with a record for the event of 17 under par, praised conditions on the 6,687-yard layout. Bobby Bonds will lead off for Texas.
The pitch. Strike on the outside corner. Barnes tried to center his first time up. Now the pitch. Outside, 1-1. It'll be Bonds, Zisk, and Hara for the Rangers here in the top of the fourth. They're in front 1-0. Leonard's pitch. Swing and a miss by Bobby Bonds. He's 1-2. Let me correct a name. A couple in Okinawa, I said Mike and Linda Scott. Hard to read the handwriting. I believe it's Scollin. Scollin, if I'm reading it correctly. Either way, hello. The pitch. Bonds at the ground ball to Brett. Backing up, plays the hop, throws in time, and there's one away. Bonds out, third to first. And here comes Richie Zisk, who struck out his first time up. We mentioned the Royals lead California by a half game, Oakland by 3, Texas by 3.5, Minnesota 9, Chicago 10.5, Seattle 18.5. That's the American League West. In the East, Boston leading Milwaukee by 9, Baltimore by 12.5. The Yankees are 14 out, Detroit 16.5, Cleveland 20, and Toronto 30. So wherever you are in the world tonight, if you're an American League fan, that's how your team's doing. The pitch to Zisk, ground ball to Patek. Ruddy plays a short hop nicely, throws on target there, 2 gone. Zisk out short to first. We'll pause 10 seconds. This is the Royals Baseball Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
XTN Canal Zone.
Toby Hara, the hitter, popped to second his first time up. Right-hander against right-hander, Leonard. Reading signs from Darrell Porter. Here's the wind to pitch. Breaking ball for a strike. 3 National League fans in the West. The Giants lead Cincinnati by 2, the Dodgers by 3, San Diego by 11, Atlanta by 13.5, Houston by 14.5. Leonard to Hara. Foul back out of play, 2 strikes. In the East, the Phillies lead the Cubs by 3, the Pirates by 4.5, Montreal by 6, the Mets by 12.5, and the Cardinals by 15. Tonight, Boston and Milwaukee delayed by rain. Baltimore at Chicago, the same thing. He's batted the ball, grounds to Brett. George picks it off and throws in time, and the inning's over. Aaron's bat wound up about 8 feet short of third base. And Brett, ignoring the bat all the while, picked off the hop and throws him out. The Rangers got in order. To the bottom of the fourth we go. Rangers 1, Royals nothing.
Some of the leaders now in batting in the National American League as of this moment.
Amos Otis leads off for the Royals here in the bottom of the fourth. It's 1-0 Rangers. Otis grounded out his first time up, grounded into a force out. Ayo working on a 7-game hitting streak. Hitting .272 with 14 homers and 52 runs batted in. He leads the Royals in home runs and RBI. Doyle Alexander, the right-hander, sets the first pitch to Otis. There's a ball Oh, ball one. National League Finals, the Pirates beat the Dodgers 7-6. In 10 innings and 11, the Mets 5, Houston 4. Cardinals beat San Diego 3-2. Pitch to Otis. Outside and low. Game suspended because of darkness in Chicago in the bottom of the 8th. The Giants were leading the Cubs 9-8. After 5, Phillies 6, the Reds 5. Pete Rose has a 33-game hitting streak now. He hit safely tonight. After 7, Montreal 6, Atlanta 3. Here again, 1-0 Texas, and the Royals try to change it in the bottom of the 4th. 2-0 to Otis. Alexander's pitch. Ball 3. And Alexander a little upset with the plate umpire, Dale Ford, kind of cocks his head and stares in. Alexander has yet to walk him at. He has 1 strikeout. The Royals have 3 hits. They've had a hit in every inning, but they haven't punched a run across yet. 3-0 pitch to Amos Otis. A.O. taking it as ball 4. He walked him on 4 pitches. So the Royals get the leadoff man aboard for the first time tonight. Otis with a tying run. And here's Darrell Porter, who tried to check his swing and grounded out to the pitcher his first time up. Third baseman Toby Hara over to say something to Doyle Alexander before Porter steps in. Clint Hurdle in the on-deck circle. The Ranger outfield now will play Porter deep. The right side of the infield sort of opened up. Hargrove holding Amos Otis. A.O. with 19 stolen bases. He's always a threat to run. And he has a good lead at the moment. 1 foot at the edge of the artificial turf. Alexander from the stretch. Looks at Otis. The pitch to Porter. Darrell takes the ball low. Ball 1. In the 4th inning in Minnesota, the Yankees and Ron Guidry leading the Twins 2-0. Again, Otis grabs the lead at first. Throw goes that way, and he's back in time. Again, a throw to first, and Otis having to dive back at first. It was close that time. So Doyle Alexander being very, very cautious with Amos Otis at first base. Now Otis asked for time. Then he's talking about having the American Forces radio on tonight. One of my favorite stories occurred a couple of years ago when a friend of yours who had just been discharged from the Army came into the booth one night. And just a few weeks before, he had been sitting outdoors in Italy listening to an opera with a transistor radio plugged into his ear, listening to a Royals baseball on American Forces radio. The 1-0 pitch. Ball outside, 2-0. Eddie said he got the hang of both of them. He enjoyed them both.
That was Jim Halstead. He was in the airport down in Florida now. Maybe he's picking it up via Cuba, Puerto Rico.
Stretched by Alexander, the pitch. Porter swings and fouls it off. 2 balls and a strike. I would imagine that there are many, many stories of that nature to be told from around the world. Now the stretch, easy throw to first, and Otis back in plenty of time. Otis at first with nobody out. 1-0 Texas, and a 2-1 count on Darrell Porter. Alexander off the stretch, snaps the throw to first, and again Otis back. So a real cat and mouse game going on. Alexander going after Otis repeatedly. He may tempt A.O. to run if he wasn't already. The stretch, the pitch to Porter. Fouled back to the screen. Darrell had a wicked cut, but he fouled it off. And the count's 2 balls, 2 strikes. The stretch again by the right-hander. The pitch. Popped up. Shallow left. Toby Harris, the third baseman. Campaneris, the shortstop. Now it's Campaneris to make the catch. Otis holds at first. He's there with one out. As Porter pops to short, and here's Clint Hurdle, who struck out his first time up. With Pete Rose extending his hitting streak to 33 games tonight, he now has the 9th longest hitting streak in baseball history. You all know the longest one, Joe DiMaggio, was 56. Wee Willie Keeler had the next one, 44. Then George Sisler with 41, Ty Cobb with 40. Tommy Holmes, who holds the modern National League record with 37, 4 in front of Pete Rose now. Dom DiMaggio had 34. Rogers, Hornsby, Heine Manouche, and Pete Rose all with 33, so he's actually tied for 7th. The pitch to Hurdle, way high, ball 1. Then Rico Carty and Willie Davis with 31. So Pete Rose now tied for the 7th longest hitting streak in history, and Dom DiMaggio 1 game in front of him. The National League record is 4 games away for him. That's the company Pete Rose has joined with another record. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Clint Hurdle. Ball outside, 2-0. Tom Poquette in the on-deck circle. Otis at first, just keeping a close eye on Doyle Alexander. Don't be surprised if he decides to go now. Here's the stretch. Snap throw to first, and Otis diving back head first. Alexander thinking the same thing. Rarely will you see Amos Otis in a head first dive, but Alexander had him on the ground that time. Amos is about as good as anybody in baseball at reading a pitcher. Now Alexander set again. Oh, they've got him picked off. Otis groped to throw to second, and he's out. Oh, he misread that one. He broke for second. Alexander wheeled and fired to first just as he did. The play went 1-3-6, and the Royals lose their base runner. That is a very rare sight. It won't happen to Amos Otis very often, but it just did. And there are 2 out with nobody on for Hurdle now. So Doyle Alexander won a long battle with Amos Otis. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Hurdle. Bouncing ball to short. Campaneris plays a big hop. Throws, and the inning's over. Hurdle gone short to first. The Royals are gone in the 4th. No runs, no hits, nobody left. To the 5th we go. Rangers 1, the Royals nothing.
Now looking at the Major League leaders and batting in the American League, Rod Carew continues to lead the majors like he did last year for the Twins, 352. Lynn of Boston, 327, tied with Lacano of Milwaukee. Rice of Boston, 322. Sundberg, Texas at 312. Carl Yastrzemski, the veteran outfielder for the Red Sox, 311. Bell of Cleveland, 309. Jackson, California, 307. Brett of Kansas City, 305. And Lou Piniella of the Yankees at 303. Leaders in batting in the National League. Jeff Barrow still leads. He plays, of course, for Atlanta, 324. Jack Clark of San Francisco, 321. Matlock of the Giants at 320. Whitfield of the Giants, 319. Parker of Pittsburgh, now batting 313. Valentine, Montreal, 310. Pete Rose, who got his hit tonight, which makes it 33 straight games, is now hitting at 306 after a very slow start, now a very fast finish. Simmons, St. Louis, 303. Foster of Cincinnati, 302. And Richards of San Diego, 301. Home runs in the American League. Rice of Boston, 23. Baylor of California, 22. Heisel, Milwaukee, 21. Thompson, Detroit, 20. Alexander and Thornton of Cleveland, along with Thomas of Milwaukee, all have 19. National League leaders, Foster of Cincinnati, 23. Greg Lazinski of the Phillies, 22. Smith of the Dodgers, Valentine of Montreal, and Clark of San Francisco, 17. RBI leaders, American League Rice of Boston, 76. National League Foster of Cincinnati, also with 76.
Here we go to the 5th. The Rangers still in front 1-0. Bump Wills is going to lead it off against Dennis Leonard. Once again, here's Denny.
Hi, Fred. Amos Otis still talking with the second base umpire, Russ Getz, before assuming his position out in center field. So Bump Wills off to the side of the plate just waiting for Amos to get out into center. Meanwhile, in Chicago, they have managed to get that game started, the Orioles and the White Sox. Baltimore failed to score in the top half of the first inning, so the White Sox bat in the bottom of the first. New York at Minnesota, they have played 4 now. The Yankees leading 2-0. The Yankees got 2 in the first. Switch hitting, Bump Wills up there. He struck out his first time. The line by Leonard in the pitch. Fastball inside, ball one. The only Texas run coming in the third inning, a double by Campaneris. And with 2 out, an infield single by Jim Sundberg. 1-0 Rangers. Slider got the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike on Bump Wills. Sitting in the 8th spot, Bert Campaneris to follow. And then the leadoff man, Mike Hargrove. In comes the 1-1 pitch. Wills around as if to bunt, took high, ball 2. Tomorrow night, it's Paul Splittorff against Dennis Eckersley. Doug Bird and Luis Tiant Saturday afternoon. A late swing and a fly ball down the left field line, slicing foul and into the seats. George Brett chasing it along with left fielder Tom Poquette. 2-2 now to Bump Wills. On Sunday afternoon, it'll be Rich Gale for the Royals. Jim Wright pitching for Boston. 2-2, the count to Bump Wills. Bump operating from a close stance. The front or right foot well ahead of the back foot. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Line drive, fair ball. Tom Poquette comes over to the line to cut it off, and Wills fell to a single. Fine play by Tommy Poquette in left. Tom Poquette shading Bump Wills toward the foul line. And as soon as Wills smashed that one just there inside the bag, Tommy sprinted to the foul line to cut it off before it hit the wall. And in so doing, able to hold Bump Wills at first base. The batter, Bert Campaneris. Campy, a fine bunter. He ripped a double into the left field corner. He has scored the only run of the game. The Rangers now about hit the Royals 5-3. One thing the Rangers have done tonight, they've been able to get their leadoff man aboard in 3 of the 5 innings. Toss over to first, the runner back. Hargrove started the game with a double. In the 3rd inning, Campaneris led off with a double. And now Bump Wills, a leadoff single here in the 5th. Snap throw to first, and Bump had to scramble back in. Wills has had a fine year with regard to stolen bases. He has 28 stolen bases, and he's been caught stealing just 4 times. Leonard still after him. Bump back to the base. Meanwhile, Campaneris just waiting at the plate. Now Leonard straightens up, checks to see where Wills is, pitches to Campy, who swings and rips it foul down the left field line. 0-1. No balls and a strike on Bert Campaneris. The Rangers trying to avoid the 500 mark. They are 46-45 at the moment. Soft toss over to first, the runner back easily. One to nothing Texas, top of the 5th inning. Leonard straightens up. Check of Wills, and the pitch to Campaneris is outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Leonard last year against Texas was 1-3. 0-2 this year, and 6-8 lifetime. Wills a big lead. The pitch to Campaneris, a slider outside, ball 2, and Darrell Porter was set to fire. Wills made a good bluff move towards second base. And then after 2 or 3 quick steps, he jammed on the brakes. But he sure had Darrell Porter's attention. 2-1 to Campaneris. Toss over to first, the runner back. Two balls and 1 strike. Snap throw to first, and he just did get back. And old Pete LeCoq thought they had him. Pete turned around and looked at first base umpire Joe Brinkman. Boy, it was close. And Bump Wills just getting back by a fingernail. We mentioned Bump with 28 stolen bases. That is exactly how many stolen bases he had all of last year. So he said in spring training he wanted to steal more, and he sure has. The stretch by Leonard, and now he just steps off the rubber. So Wills is bothering Dennis, no doubt about that. It wasn't always that way, but certainly now you can say like father, like son. Snap throw to first. Wills is back. 2-1 on Bert Campaneris. Of course, Campy at the plate understands what all the commotion is about over at first. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball wide of third. Patek in the hole at short. Throw to second for the force out. So Wills is forced from Patek to White. And a fine throw from Freddie deep in the hole at short. He was going to his right and had to throw back to the left, and he made a fine throw. So one away, and now Mike Hargrove at the plate. When I referred to Campaneris knowing what the stolen base and all the commotion was about, of course, Campy has stolen 50 or more bases in a season 6 times, an American League record. And there he is at first. Campy, though, 17 stolen bases this year. Last year, 27. And the year before that, 54. There are those who say that Campaneris has slowed down in the last couple of years. Well, we may have a chance to find out. Campy takes the lead. Leonard turns and tosses one over to first, and Bert back standing.
Oh, West, report the first base, please.
1-0 Texas. Top of the 5th inning. Mike Hargrove has doubled, and he's flied to right field. 1 out of 2 for Mike. Leonard nods yes to Porter's sign. Now the stretch. The check of Campaneris. The pitch to Hargrove. Breaking ball is low. 1-0. Mike, as we said at the outset of the ballgame, a contact hitter. 82 hits. He has struck out only 32 times. Throw over to first, the runner back in time. So Leonard in this inning has spent as much time throwing to first as he has spent throwing to the plate. The Rangers, like the Royals, have fine speed in the bottom of the batting order, especially the 8th and 9th slots. Ground ball through the middle. Patek to his left has got it. Steps on second. Throws to first. Double play. So Patek darting to his left. And he turned over the double play, 6-3, and that's the inning. 1 hit, no runs, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 5th, and it remains Texas 1, Royals nothing.
Let's look again at the leaders in runs batted in. We left off with that, I believe, last inning. In RBIs in the American League, Jim Rice of Boston, 76. Rusty Stott, Detroit, 73. Jason Thompson, Detroit, along with Larry Heisel, Milwaukee, 65. Thornton of Cleveland, 58. RBIs in the National League, Foster heads up that department. Of Cincinnati, 76. Clark of San Francisco, 75. Winfield, San Diego, 64. Garvey, L.A. and Montanez of New York, 61. Stolen base department, American League, LaFleur, Detroit, 36. Wilson of KC, 30. DeLeon, Oakland. Cruz of Seattle, 29. Bump Wheels of Texas, 28. National League, Marino, Pittsburgh, 42. Lopes, Los Angeles, and Richards, San Diego, 28. Tavares, Pittsburgh, 24. And Cedeno of Houston, 23. Pitching department, American League, Guidry, Yankees, 13-1. Tanana, California, 13-5. Flanagan, Baltimore, 13-7. In the National League, Vita Blue, San Francisco, 13-4. Grimsley, Montreal, 12-6. And Nepper, San Francisco, 11-5. ERAs, American League, Guidry, New York, has 2.23. National League, Rogers, Montreal, 2.12. Strikeouts, in the American League, Ryan, California, has taken over that department, 142. Guidry, New York, 137. Flanagan, Baltimore, 109. Leonard, Kansas City, 97. National League, Richard, Houston, 177. Negro, Atlanta, 136. Seaver, Cincinnati, 123. Montefusco of San Francisco, 108. And Bert Blyleven of the Pittsburgh Pirates has 107 strikeouts this year.
The Royals trail by 1 as they come to bat in the bottom of the 5th inning. It will be the lower third of the batting order. Tom Poquette, Fred Patek, and then Frank White. Tom singled to left field in the 2nd inning. The Royals have 3 hits off Doyle Alexander, all singles. Second, 2 singles, 1 double. The only extra base hit was Hal McRae's double in the 3rd. However, all 3 hits have come with 2 outs. Lecoq singled with 2 out in the 1st, Tom Poquette with 2 out in the 2nd, and Max double with 2 out in the 3rd. Run, 5 hits for Texas, no runs, 3 hits for the Royals. Doyle Alexander ready and deals. Fastball right through there, strike 1. Doyle Alexander's tall and lean. He's 6'3", weighs 205. He doesn't look like he weighs that much. Tommy reaching, hits a bouncing ball to first. Hargrove feeds to Alexander coming over from the mound, and Tom Poquette is retired, 3-1. The batter, Fred Patek. Fred grounded to third his first time up. Doyle Alexander, 27 years old. Came up to the big leagues for the first time in 1971 with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Then he was traded to Baltimore. Spent 4.5 years with the Orioles. Went from Baltimore to New York. Played only half a season in Yankee Stadium. And is now in his 2nd year with the Texas Rangers. Doyle was 17-11 for Texas last year. Slider is popped down the right field line. A long run for Richie Ziff. And to the foul line to make the catch in foul territory. Just stepping across the foul line, Ziff took care of Freddie Patek's fly ball. 2 Royals gone, and up comes Frank White. Frank popped out to second in the 3rd inning.
Leonard Little, report to facility, please.
2 out, nobody on. Frank White at the plate. Bottom of the 5th inning, 1-0 Texas. Fastball right through there, strike 1. At this time last night, the Royals had 10 runs. Tonight, just 3 hits. Into the dirt and back to the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike on Frank. Base is empty, 2 down. Alexander leaning in, reading Jim Sundberg. Here's the windup in the pitch. Slider waved at and missed. Boy, Doyle Alexander doesn't look like a pitcher who hasn't won since the 23rd of June. In his last 3 starts, he's allowed 19 hits and 15 runs. But this is a different pitcher. Down too low. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Frank. Alexander, as well as the Texas team, trying to avoid the 500 mark. Alexander 6-5, the Rangers 46-45. Foul tipped by Frank, and he's still up there 2-2. After 6 now in Philadelphia, the Phillies 8 and Cincinnati 6. Baltimore, Chicago, 0-0 after 1. To the count. Here's the...
If you're listening to this on any YouTube channel other than Classic Baseball on the Radio, be sure to check out the YouTube channel Classic Baseball on the Radio. This game was first posted.
Donna Capone Young, seeking her first victory in 2 years, fired a record-tying 3-under-par 68 Thursday for the first-round lead in the $100,000 U.S. Women's Open Golf Championship at Indianapolis. Finishing late in the day, Young took a 2-stroke lead in the 72-hole event on the Country Club of Indianapolis course. 2 other pros, defending champion Horace Stacy and Vicky Fragon, posted 1-under-par 70s. Co-favorite Nancy Lopez and 3 others were tied at even par 71. Temperatures in the mid-90s and high humidity took their toll on the players. The forecast for Friday was for more of the same. The top 50 scorers, including ties, after Friday's round will advance the final 2 rounds Saturday and Sunday, with the winner picking up a $15,000 first prize. Meanwhile, in tennis, top-seeded Jimmy Connors won 11 straight games and blasted 9th-seeded John Alexander of Australia 6-1, 6-love in the third-round match at the $175,000 Washington Star International Tennis Championship in the nation's capital. Connors from Belleville, Illinois, needed only 50 minutes to dispose of Alexander. In the first set, he broke Alexander's serve 4 consecutive times for a 6-1 victory. In the final set, Alexander was helpless, winning only 9 points. The third-round upset, 12th-seeded Jose Higueras of Spain knocked off number 4 Raul Ramirez of Mexico by 6-2 and 6-1.
Texas 1, Royals nothing. We go to the 6th, and Juan Benitez, Jim Sundberg, and Al Oliver will be facing Dennis Leonard. The only run of the ball game came in the 3rd inning, a leadoff double by Campaneris. And then with 2 out, Campaneris to 3rd. Sundberg jammed, hit a slow roller to deep 3rd. Brett let the ball roll, hoping it would go foul, but it didn't. And Sundberg had an infield hit and an RBI, and Texas the lead. Slider to Benitez is outside. Juan is struck out and grounded to second, 0 for 2. Montreal leading Atlanta 7-3. Montreal tonight. They are now in the 9th inning. The 1-0 fastball inside, ball 2. A note on that Atlanta-Montreal game, shortstop Chris Spire of Montreal has hit for the cycle. He doubled in the 8th inning. So he has them all, a single, a double, a triple, and a home run tonight up in Montreal. Benitez swings and misses, and it's 2-1. A run on 5 hits for Texas. The Royals no runs on 3 hits. Royals with 1 hit in each of the first 3 innings. And that has been it. A double and 2 singles. Popped up, right center field. Clint Hurdle says, I'll take it. And he does just that. Juan Benitez 0 for 3. The batter, Jim Sundberg. Jim, as we said, an infield single and an RBI in the 3rd. His first time up, he was thrown out by Brett. This wouldn't figure to be a pitcher's night. Not at all, but Dennis Leonard and right-hander Doyle Alexander of the Rangers, that thing's pretty much their way. Slider outside, ball 1. Dennis has 4 strikeouts, but none since the 3rd inning. Fastball swung late and ripped foul into the seats down the right field line. 1-1 on the Texas catcher, Jim Sundberg. On Jim Sundberg. Dennis Leonard with the sign. To the windup he goes. And the 1-1 pitch on the way. A little bit outside and high. 2-1. The Royals have won 3 and have lost 5 against Texas this year. Royals have won 2 out of 3 here at Royal Stadium. Slider on the hands, foul back, and it's 2-2. Resume play against an Eastern Division foe tomorrow night. And the leaders of the pack, the Boston Red Sox, come to town. Paul Splittorff and Dennis Eckersley. Change is fouled away by Sundberg, and the count's still 2-2. Luis Tiant will pitch on Saturday. Doug Bird for the Royals. Rich Gale and Jim Wright on Sunday. Then the Yankees in town Monday and Tuesday night. Seattle Wednesday and Thursday to close the homestand. So come on out. Boy, it should be some weekend. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Ground ball to the right side. Frank White waits for the hop. On to Pete Lecoq, and Sundberg retires. So 2 away, and we'll pause for station identification. This is the Royals Radio Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
SCN Canal Zone.
Denny Matthews along with Fred White and producer-engineer Ed Shepard. Al Oliver takes a cut and misses in the count 0-1. Al, an infield single in the first, a strikeout victim in the third. 1-0 Rangers, top of the sixth. Amos Otis way around into left center field for Al Oliver. Leonard says yes to the sign, the 1-strike pitch. But it fouled. He tried to drop it up along third in the count 0-2.
You mentioned the pitchers in the heat. It's 90 degrees and very humid. Look at the crowd down here. There appears to be just stifling down there. They're all sitting there looking wet, fanning themselves. You look at Alexander with 3 complete games only this year and say if they can stay close, maybe tonight.
The 0-2 pitch. Twice fouled into the seats down the left field line. Well, the first and third base coaches have been issued canteens. So that'll give you some idea. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Al Oliver. In on the hands, but he loops it into shallow center. Otis on the run, makes the catch. Well, Leonard made a fine pitch. Oliver tried to muscle it into center, but Otis ran it down, and that's the inning. The Rangers are down 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the sixth, and it remains Texas 1, Royals nothing.
Getting back to that tennis tournament in the nation's capital, that's the $175,000 Washington Star International Tennis Championship. Other matches today, 15th-seeded Hans Gildermeister of Chile toppled number 7 Dick Stockton of Dallas by 6-2, 6-2. Number 5 Manuel Varantes of Spain edged number 11 John McEnroe of Douglastown, New York by 6-7, 6-1, and 7-5. Number 6 Harold Solomon of Silver Spring, Maryland ousted number 13 Arthur Ashe of Richmond, Virginia 6-3, 6-4. Number 8 Wojciech Fajek of Poland nipped number 16 Phil Den of Australia 6-4, 3-6, and 7-6. Number 14 Jaime Fiol of Chile defeated unseeded Nick Saviano of Riverdale, New Jersey 7-5, 5-7, and 6-3. Saviano earlier upset second seed Brian Guidry. In St. Louis, Mike DeFranco of Gainesville, Florida is the only seeded player who has survived to the semifinals of the St. Louis Junior Invitational Tennis Tournament. DeFranco, seeded 7th, defeated Ray Disco of Forest Hills, New York by 6-4, 6-4 in the quarterfinals Thursday. The second set was tied at 4-4. The Disco double faulted 3 straight times in the 9th game and lost the game point by failing on a return. The only other seeded player in the quarterfinals are Rajneesh Krishnan of India, who was forced out of the tournament by a shoulder injury. He was seeded 5th, that the injury had been bothering him all week and was aggravated in a doubles match.
Top of the batting order for the Royals in the bottom of the 6th inning. 1-0 Texas. The Royals have just 3 hits off Doyle Alexander. Thinking back, when Alexander faced the Royals on June the 8th in Arlington, Texas, the Royals went into the 7th inning with only 1 hit off Alexander, and that was a triple by Amos Otis. Then they got 2 hits in the 7th, and then they got rid of Alexander in the 8th inning. Brett takes a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Twice tonight, George has flied to left field. When the Royals knocked him out in the 8th inning in Texas in early June, McRae doubled, Brett doubled, and then the Rangers brought in Roger Moret. He allowed 2 more base runners, and then Reggie Cleveland saved the game. Sliders low, 1 ball and 1 strike. So tonight's game, showing the same pattern as the ball game in Arlington a little over a month ago. Alexander very tough early and then wilted. Outside, ball 2, 2-1. Brett, McRae, and Lecoq, if anybody gets on, Amos Otis. 1 run, 5 hits for the Rangers. No runs, 3 hits for the Royals, 2 singles and a double. Sock fouled into the upper deck, in and out of the upper deck, coming back downstairs. 2-2 now on George. George Brett's batting average at the moment, .303. 93 hits. Doyle Alexander's 2-2 pitch. Hop fouled out of play. Alexander that time threw a fastball up and in. Doyle has exhibited fine control tonight. He has just 1 walk. But over and above that, he's been able to spot all of his pitches very well. Moving the ball in and out, changing speeds. He's been tough. Now he works Brett away. Too far away, ball 3. 3-2. George trying to get on there, trying to get the Royals offense on track. Alexander shaking his head no. Now he's satisfied. The 3-2 pitch. Hit hard. Campaneris backhands it short. Long throw. He got his man. Excellent play by Bert Campaneris. 1 away. Here is Hal McRae. Fly to center in the first. Doubled in the third. Right-hand batter at the plate. Nobody on, 1 away in the bottom of the 6th. Alexander works. Up too high, ball 1. One ball, no strikes on Hal McRae. Low and outside and all the way back to the base of the screen. The Royals Jacksonville farm team victorious tonight. They beat Memphis 5-2. Rich Dubé, the winner, now 9-6. Meanwhile, up north in Minnesota, the Yankees continue to lead the Twins 2-0. The Yankees got Ron Guidry 2 in the first, and he's made them stand up through 5. The 2-0 pitch to Mack. Low and outside, ball 3. Baltimore, Chicago, 0-0. They're in the bottom of the 2nd. That game was delayed by rain at the outset. Still no report in Milwaukee. It's apparently still raining there. The Red Sox and the Brewers would love to play. Inside, ball 4. So Hal's on, and that's the tying run. Here is Pete Lecoq. Pete tonight has singled and lined hard to first. One on, one out. Toby Harrah comes over to talk with Doyle Alexander. The Cardinals beat San Diego 3-2. The Mets won a doubleheader from Houston. The Pirates over the Dodgers in 10, 7-6. Hal McRae lead. The stretch by Alexander. The pitch to Pete. He got the outside corner. Took something off that pitch in the count 0-1. 1-0 Texas. The Texas infield, a double play depth. Alexander brings it home, and Pete takes down too low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Royals trying to keep their streaks alive. They've won 5 in a row, and they've won 4 straight here at home. 1-1. There goes the runner. Base hit left field on the hit and run. McRae around second on his way to third. He is in there. Beautifully executed hit and run. Campaneris went over to cover second when Hal McRae broke. And Pete Lecoq, a left-hand batter, just guided it through the vacated spot at shortstop. Boy, the importance of a man who can make contact. And Pete picked out his spot perfectly and just guided that ball through the vacated slot. And so now the Royals have the tying run at third and the go-ahead run at first. One away, and Amos Otis at the plate.
Maybe I don't know if you saw what Hal McRae did or not. I believe he was trying to get hit by a throw if a throw was coming. He did a big loop and came into third almost from the foul line, and I think he was thinking if Oliver throws this way, I'm going to take it on the shoulder of the helmet and see if I can get a wild throw and score here.
So that really woke up the crowd. First and third, one away. Amos Otis at the plate. Amos against Doyle Alexander down in Texas on June the 8th, 2 out of 4, a single and a triple. So the fans here at Royal Stadium, who've been sitting on their hands all night, have finally come to life here in the bottom of the sixth. Activity now in the Texas bullpen. Signal given by Jim Sundberg. Here's the stretch by Doyle Alexander. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to third. Might be a double play. To second base one. Back to first. Double play, and that's the inning. No runs, one hit, a walk, and a man left. And after 6, Rangers 1, Royals nothing.
It's raining again in Chicago at Comiskey Park, and after 2, no score between the Chicago White Sox and Baltimore Orioles. The tarp is back down on the field, and time has been called. Raining pretty hard. Doesn't look too good that game will continue. At Montreal, Chris Spire drove home 6 runs tonight by hitting for the cycle and sparking the Montreal Expos to a 7-3 victory over the Atlanta Braves. Spire tripled home 2 runs in the second inning, drilled a 2-run homer in the 6th, and double home a run in the 8th. He also had a single in the 4th to become the first Montreal player since Tim Foley in 1976 to hit for the cycle. The Braves took a 3-0 lead in the 3rd frame when Fryman walked. Losing pitcher Jamie Easterly 2 and 6 with the bases loaded, and then Jerry Royster hit a 2-run single. The bottom of the 2nd, after Warren Cromartie walked, Gary Carter singled. Spire tripled off the center field wall, narrowing the lead to 3-2. Spire's 4th home run in the 6th inning made the score 5-3 after Larry Parrish singled and Cromartie was hit by a pitch. Reliever Mickey Mauler walked home the 6th Montreal run in the 7th inning. Veteran Woody Fryman went 8 innings to improve his record to 5-7. He allowed 7 hits, walked 4, and struck out 7 before being relieved by Mike Garman in the 9th, who picked up his 8th save. So again, from Olympic Stadium in Montreal, Canada, the Montreal Expos have defeated the Atlanta Braves by a score of 7-3.
6 inning totals. The Rangers 1 run on 5 hits. The Royals no runs on 4 hits. Neither team has erred. The Rangers have stranded 3, and the Royals have left 4. So a tight 10th pitching duel. We go to the 7th, and here again is Fred.
Thank you, Denny. Bobby Bonds leads it off for the Rangers. It's Bonds, Zisk, and Hara. The Rangers have some power coming up in the 7th. The pitch from Dennis Leonard. Outside, past Darrell Porter all the way to the screen, 1-0. Bonds tonight has flied to center and grounded to third. He's hitting .263 with 15 homers. 49 runs batted in. The pitch to him. Ball high, 2-0. Leonard has yet to walk a man. He has struck out 5, but hasn't struck anyone else since the 3rd. 2-0 to Bonds, the pitch. High pop-up. Down the first base line, Pete Lecoq, the first baseman, chasing it near the stands, makes the catch right in front of the barrier. Bobby Bonds gone as he fouls out to first, and Lecoq with a long run to get it. Picked it off just a half step from the fence. So 1 out, nobody on to Richie Zisk. The Rays have moved back into the south side of Chicago. Baltimore and Chicago now stopped after 2 innings because of rain. After 6, the Yankees lead Minnesota 2-0. Ron Guidry looking for his 14th win for the Yankees tonight. And Montreal beat Atlanta 7-3. Fryman the winner, Easterly the loser. Leonard winding the pitch to Zisk. Swing and a miss. 1 strike to count. Zisk struck out in the 2nd, grounded to short in the 4th. Richie hitting .258 with 13 homers, 51 RBIs. Leonard's pitch. Check this swing. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Leonard ready. The pitch. Swing and a foul tip. Porter hung on. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Right-hander against right-hander. 1 out, nobody on in the top of the 7th, and the Rangers lead the Royals 1-0. Leonard trying to keep it right there. This now asks for time, thinking Leonard took too long. Steps right back in. Dennis set. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Ground ball to short. Freddie Patek with a big hop. Picks it off. Comes to the cross in time. There are 2 men gone. Zisk has gone short to first. And it's 2 out, nobody on to Toby Harrah, who has popped to second and grounded to third. Then he told you in that Montreal-Atlanta game, Chris Fire hit for the cycle tonight. Single, double, triple homer. The home run is 4th. It was a 3-run homer in the 6th. First pitch to Toby Harrah misses, ball 1. Toby just 1 for 9 against Dennis Leonard this year. Tried to check his swing and did. The count's now 2-0. And Harrah looks like he hurt his left hand in checking the swing. He's kind of shaking it around as if in some pain. 2 balls, no strikes. The left side of the Royal infield deep. Outfield the same way. Leonard picks up a sign. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Harrah takes up and in, ball 3. So Leonard in danger of walking his first man. Boy, this has been some ball game. The Royals have 3 more shots at Doyle Alexander. Here's the 3-0 to Harrah. He walked him, ball 4, so Leonard's walked his first man tonight. And here's Bump Wills, who has struck out in singles.
The second baseman, Bump Wills.
In case you weren't listening and didn't know, Pete Rose has extended his hitting streak to 33 games tonight. He's now 4 away from the National League record, held by Tommy Holmes. Throw to first. Harrah back in time. Toby has stolen 23 bases this year, so he can run. Here's the stretch by Leonard. Pitch to Will. Popped him up. Shallow center. Amos Otis is on the move. Frank White out. Otis calls him off. He's got it. The inning's over. No runs, no hits. A walk, a man left. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. It's the Rangers 1 and the Royals nothing.
Some football news today. The Pittsburgh Steelers have traded cornerback Jim Allen to the Detroit Lions for an unspecified future draft choice. Allen asked to be traded last year after he and the Steelers were involved in a dispute over money and playing time. This comment from Steelers president Dan Rooney: I think it was the best thing for everybody concerned. Steelers coach Chuck Noll now has to find a starting left cornerback. It was announced the other day that cornerback J.T. Thomas will miss the entire season, and maybe more because of a blood disease. And the Chicago Bears have offered star running back Walter Payton $375,000 a year, which would make him the second highest paid player in National Football League history. Payton's attorney, Paul Bud Holmes, called the contract offer a good one, but in my opinion, it is not acceptable. The only NFL player to make more was running back O.J. Simpson, who made $733,000 last year with Buffalo. The second highest paid player was Los Angeles quarterback Joe Namath at $350,000. Payton, 23, is unsigned and is willing to play out his option with the Bears and become a free agent at the end of the season. The contract would be for 3 years, plus an option year. Incentive clauses could boost Payton's salary. Holmes says that Walter's fans keep comparing him to O.J. They say, you're better than O.J. You broke O.J.'s record for most yardage in a single game. Don't accept less than O.J. makes.
Here we go to the bottom of the 7th. The Rangers leading the Royals 1-0. They've out-hit the Royals 5-4. Looking back, the Royals have had 2 excellent opportunities to score. In the third, Hal McRae doubled with 1 out. And Pete Lecoq hit a line drive, but right after first baseman Mike Hargrove, if gets over him or past him, it's a run. Then in the sixth, the Royals had runners at first and third with just one out. But Otis, on the first pitch, grounded into a double play. So the Royals missed those two opportunities. The Rangers got their only run, as we told you, when Campaneris doubled to start the third. Hargrove hit a fly ball to deep right that moved him to third. Then with one out, Sundberg hit a two-out runner. Sundberg hit a slow roller up the third base line. The Royals had to let it roll, hoping it would go foul. But it just went over the bag fair. And Campaneris able to score. And that's the ball game so far. Here in the seventh, it's Porter, Hurdle, and Poquette for the Royals. Three left-handed hitters to go after right-hander Doyle Alexander. Darrell is 0 for 2. He's popped to short, grounded out to the pitcher. Porter hitting .278 with 8 homers. 42 RBIs on the year. Alexander with a sign from Sundberg. And here we go, the bottom of the seventh, the first pitch to Porter. All the way back to the screen, on by Sundberg. 1 ball, no strike. Alexander has 1 strikeout. He's given 2 walks. Porter out of the batter's box for a moment, steps back in. Ranger outfield extremely deep against Porter. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fly ball left field. Back goes Al Oliver to the warning track. To the wall. Leap. Can't get it. It's off the bullpen gate. Porter's at second base. Darrell's going to try for 3. Now he holds up and goes back to second base. So there's the tying run at second with nobody out. Al Oliver gave it a run. He went to the bullpen gate and went in the air. Got a glove on the ball but couldn't hold on. Porter has his 20th double of the year. He hit it a long way to the opposite field. Out comes Billy Hunter, the Ranger manager now, to check with Doyle Alexander. He has his bullpen active. A right-hander and a left-hander throwing. And here's Clint Hurdle, who has struck out and grounded to short in the on-deck circle. So the Royals another opportunity to get this thing tied. Billy Hunter doesn't stay long. He's satisfied with what he's been told. Turns and heads back to the Ranger dugout. Now Doyle Alexander calls the shortstop, Bert Campaneris, in to talk to him. Right-hander Reggie Cleveland, left-hander Paul Lindblad are throwing in the Texas bullpen. Hurdle last night had the big hit in the game, a 2-run triple that really got the Royals rolling. He's hitless tonight in 2 tries. Toby Harrah, the third baseman, shallow, guarding against bunt. The outfield plays Hurdle the opposite way. Clint opens his stance up slightly. Porter a safe lead at second. Here's the stretch. The pitch to Hurdle. Outside, ball 1, and Clint showing no sign of it. And Harrah backs up at third. The second time tonight the Royals have had their leadoff man on. The pitch. Fly ball out of play. Fouled on the left field side. 1-1 to Hurdle. Clint's batting average is .256, but he's been a pretty tough hitter in these situations. He's been able to battle and get some big runs home this year for the Royals. So it's a veteran Doyle Alexander against the rookie Clint Hurdle. Here's the stretch. The pitch. Outside, ball 2, 2-1. So Alexander slipping behind Clint Hurdle here. I would imagine one thing Billy Hunter said to Doyle Alexander was keep the ball away from this kid. That's what he's done so far. Alexander sets. 2-1 pitch. Bouncing ball to the right side. Hargrove's only play is going to be to first. The runner goes to third. Hurdle retired. But he got the runner over. The play went first base and the pitcher covering. Porter moves to third, so there's the tying run over there with just 1 out now. So Clint able to get it on the ground to the right side and move Porter up. And here's Tom Poquette, who drove in a run last night with a sacrifice fly. And his second on the Royals ball club in sacrifice flies with 5 this year. would tie the ball game. Pokey denied a single and grounded out to the first baseman. The Rangers will pull the infield in, so the percentages lie with Tom Poquette here. You know the adage, with the infield in, the hitter's average goes up 100 points. They've opened up the middle for Poquette. Tom trying to get this thing tied in the bottom of the seventh. Alexander breaks contact. Now looks back to Sundberg again. Here's the stretch. First pitch to Tom Poquette. Outside, ball one. Freddie Patek next. Royals looking for a base hit or a fly ball to tie it. Poquette, a good contact hitter, a very tough man to strike out. Here's the pitch. Hot shot at Hargrove. He's going to throw home. They've got Porter trapped between home and third. Now Darrell tagged out and Poquette's at first with 2 out. Hargrove started to break to the bag, and he saw Darrell Porter in no man's land. So the Royals have lost a very big base runner. Hargrove made a break to the bag and then all of a sudden saw that Darrell Porter was headed for home plate. He threw to home. They got Porter trapped and got him, so instead of runner at second now, it's a runner at first with 2 out for Fred Patek, and the Royals have let another golden opportunity slip away here unless Freddie Patek can move Tom Poquette. The way the play went if you're scoring. Here's Patek. He's over 2 tonight. Pitch low, ball one. Alexander at the belt. The pitch to Freddie. It's a strike and the count evens out 1-1. Frank White would be next if Fred can keep the inning going. A final, the Phillies 8, Cincinnati 6. Here again, 1-0 Texas, 2 out, the bottom of the seventh. 1-1 pitch to Fred Patek. Misses, ball 2, 2-1. Doyle Alexander getting set. Here's the stretch. Lobs it through to first. Tom Poquette back safely. Now again the stretch. The pitch to Patek. Ground ball to second. Should be the inning. Buck Wills has it. Fires in time, and the Royals are gone in the seventh. No runs, a hit. The Royals waste the leadoff double and leave a man. And we go to the eighth. It remains the Rangers 1 and the Royals nothing.
Some more football notes. Halfback Andy Johnson, sidelined last season with a knee injury, is fully recovered and ready to start again in the New England Patriots backfield. Johnson today says his problem now is psychological. Johnson's injury dealt a severe blow to the team's chances last season. The versatile halfback is regarded as a good runner and blocker and an exceptional pass receiver. Johnson injured his knee during the exhibition season and says sitting out the season was one of the most frustrating events in his life. He was a key player in the 1976 club, which had an 11-3 record before losing to Oakland in the playoffs. And the Cleveland Browns say that linebacker Robert Jackson will be sidelined for at least 10 days with a torn ligament in his left knee. It's the same knee operated on last year when the top draft choice missed the entire season. Jackson injured his knee yesterday when he slipped on grass during a routine exercise drill at the Kent State training camp. The Browns also announced the signing of free agent wide receiver kick return specialist Steve Schmidt of Notre Dame. Schmidt resides in the Cleveland suburb of Rocky River. And veteran defensive lineman Roger Stillwell, a regular with the Chicago Bears for the past 3 seasons, announced Thursday he's going to retire from football because he's not responding to his 4th knee operation. Plagued by physical problems during all 3 seasons, Stillwell, 26, a 6'6", 250-pounder, suffered a left knee ligament injury in Minnesota last year.
Here we go to the eighth. Still 1-0 Texas, and again here's Denny.
All right, Fred, Bert Campaneris leading off. He led off the third inning with a double and came around to score the only run of the game on an infield single by Jim Sundberg with 2 out. Campy tried to save his swing, but went around, 0-1. Leonard has walked just 1. He has 4 strikeouts. No strikeouts since the third inning, however. The Rangers have only 1 hit since the third inning. Bouncing ball, Brett to his left, scoops it up, throw to first, 1 away. That brings up Mike Hargrove. Mike is doubled wide to right and bounced into a double play. The hits evened up at 5 apiece. Neither team has erred tonight. The Royals are shading Mike Hargrove just a little bit to right field. Mike sets himself at the plate. Leonard reading signs. The lineup now and the pitch to Hargrove. Breaking ball way inside, ball 1. One ball and no strikes on the left-hand batter. Here's the pitch. Got the outside corner with a strike. It's 1-1. In Chicago this afternoon, Jack Clark singled in the 8th inning and put the Giants in front of the Cubs 9-8. The game had to be suspended by darkness. Breaking ball outside, 2-1. It's funny, they will resume that game the next time the 2 teams meet. But since the Giants don't go to Chicago again this year, the game will be resumed in San Francisco on Friday night. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Line drive, Patek has got it. Freddie didn't have to go up very high, but up on his tiptoes to gather in Mike Hargrove's line drive. So 2 down as we pause for station identification. This is the Kansas City Royals Radio Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
Denny Matthews, along with Fred White and producer-engineer Ed Shepard at Royal Stadium. 1-0 Texas. Juan Beniquez takes the breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. Beniquez has been collared. He's 0 for 3. Struck out, grounded out, and flied out. Leonard's 1 strike pitch. Blowing outside, 1-1. The Expos beat the Braves 7-3. Chris Spire had 6 RBIs. And he hit for the cycle. The 1-1 pitch. Swung and he missed. Leonard with a breaking ball and the count 1-2. Fire, the first Montreal player to hit for the cycle since Tim Foley. Oddly enough, a shortstop did it in 1976. 1-2. The count on Juan Beniquez. The line by Leonard. Here's the pitch. Started to go for a slider and held up in time. The pitch broke low and outside, and it's 2-2. If you joined us late, Pete Rose of the Cincinnati Reds had a 2-out single in his third at bat tonight, and he has extended his hitting streak to 33 games. He hit a 2-0 pitch up the middle. The 2-2 pitch to Beniquez, bouncing ball. It is foul. Foul wide of third. The play continues anyway, but it was called foul by third base umpire Nick Remigan. Fred is asking the umpire about it. So is the third base coach, Pat Corrales. Fred, not about to umpire, fired the ball across, and apparently in time to get Beniquez, and now Heidi Herzog is going to come out. Patek and Porter are also arguing. Darrow had a pretty good shot at the play. Now Heidi will ask Nick Remigan about the ball. It appeared to go directly over the bag. Brett fielded the ball, and so sure was George that the ball was fair that he unloaded the throw to first. But as soon as the ball went over the bag, Nick Remigan signaled foul ball, and he just walks away from everybody. Whitey's going to follow him up the left field line a ways and continue the argument. So the Royals feel that Nick Remigan has taken an out away. And is that the third out of the inning? But we all know the outcome of this debate. It will go the way of Nick Remigan and the umpiring staff, and Juan Benitez will be at the plate 2-2. So Whitey back to the dugout. Driven to go out and argue with Nick Remigan, but he lost the argument. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Juan Benitez. 1-0 Texas, top of the 8th inning. Dennis Leonard into the windup. Here's the pitch. Foul tip. So Benitez a lucky man in this at bat. And Darrell Porter unable to hold that foul tip. He was given a reprieve on that ground ball, just foul at the bag of third. And the count's still 2-2. The line by Leonard. Here's the pitch. Struck him out. He foul tipped that one. Porter managed to hang on, and that's the inning. 1-2-3. Down go the Rangers. So we go to the bottom of the 8th, and it remains Texas 1, Royals nothing.
Cincinnati's Pete Rose extended his hitting streak to 33 games with an infield single tonight in the 5th inning to trigger a 3-run rally. But Greg Luzinski's bloop single knocked in the tie-breaking run in the 6th inning and faced the Philadelphia Phillies to an 8-6 victory over the Reds. With the score tied 6-6 in the 6th, Jerry Martin singled with 1 out off reliever Manny Sarmiento and raced to third base on a single by Larry Boa. When Boa took second on the throw to third, the Reds intentionally walked Mike Schmidt to load the bases, and Luzinski followed with a bloop single into short right. Pinch hitter Jose Cardinal brought in Boa with a sacrifice fly. Cincinnati used a double by Johnny Bench and a triple by Ken Henderson to score twice in the 2nd, and the Reds added 3 more runs with a 2-out rally in the 5th. Rose, who went 1 for 5, singled off Ted Sizemore's glove to open the inning, then moved up on a single by Ken Griffey. Joe Morgan doubled home 2 runs, then scored in the single by George Foster that knocked out starter Jim Cott. Dave Concepcion doubled, then scored in the single by Henderson to tie the score in the 6th. Mike Schmidt and Luzinski hit doubles for a first-inning Philadelphia run. Cott doubled to set up 2 runs in the 3rd. Richie Hebner homered to open the 4th for Philadelphia, and then the Phillies added another run on doubles by Gary Maddox and Bob Boone. Schmidt singled and scored in the double by Hebner for the Phillies' 6th run in the 5th. Again, the final from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia.
Frustrated to this point, will send up Frank White, George Brett, and Hal McRae in the bottom of the 8th. It is 1-0 Texas. They scored their run in the 3rd inning. A leadoff double by Campaneris and a 2-out infield roller by Jim Sudberg, and that's the difference in the ballgame. Frank White 0 for 2. He'll be followed by Brendan McRae. George 0 for 3, and Mac 1 out of 2. So on a hot, humid night at Royal Stadium, Doyle Alexander has gone 7, allowed 5 hits and no runs. But as we said back in early June, on June the 8th, the Royals got rid of him on doubles by Brendan McRae in the 8th inning. The Rangers went on to win it. But he willed it in the 8th. We'll see about tonight. He starts out with a breaking ball and finds the strike zone, 0-1 on Frank. Right-hander against right-hander. The line by Doyle Alexander in the pitch. Breaking stuff is low, and it's 1-1. Final score in Philadelphia. The Phillies 8, Cincinnati 6. Brewster the winner 3-0. Sarmiento the loss 7-6. Big crowd 44,034. And Pete Rose extended his inning streak to 33. Frank swings and misses 1-2. Minnesota batting in the bottom of the 8th inning up in Bloomington, Minnesota, trailing the Yankees and Ron Guidry 3-0. 1-2, the count on Frank White. Doyle Alexander making his 19th start. He has only 3 complete games. Fly ball into right field. Richie Ziff moving up. under the ball now and makes the catch, and that's one away. So you see that number, only 3 complete games in 18 starts. Alexander doesn't figure to go the distance, but he's now just 5 outs away from his 7th victory. Brett has flied to left twice and had a base hit taken away by Bert Campaneris with a fine play to his right in the 6th. Here's the windup by Doyle Alexander in the pitch. George takes outside, ball 1. Alexander has been anything but an overpowering pitcher. He has just 1 strikeout. He struck out Clint Hurdle back in the 2nd inning. But he's been very precise with his control. The slider just missing the outside corner at the knees. Ball 2, 2-0. For the most part, he's had Royal hitters off stride, lunging, and in some cases trying to pull outside pitches. The 2-0 pitch to Brett. Swatted foul into the upper deck, back to third, and the count 2-1. Alexander's biggest pitch of the night was to Amos Otis in the 6th inning. The Royals had runners at first and third, 1 out. And using that good sinking fastball, he induced Otis to ground into an inning-ending double play. The 2-1 pitch to George. Outside corner, boy, he needled the black with a fastball, and it's 2-2. Al McRae coming up next. 1 out, nobody on. 1-0 Texas, bottom of the 8th inning. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Change and a line drive. It is just there into the right field corner. Right around first, on his way to second base. He is around second. He's going to try. Will freeway throw. He is safe. Territory down the right field line. If it went an inch over the glove of Hargrove, it fell fair by 2 inches. So that's how close he shaved it. But there he is at third with the tying run in his hip pocket. And up comes Al McRae. Mack has doubled, walked, and fly to center. Activity out in the Texas bullpen. Right-hander Reggie Cleveland. Left-hander Paul Lindblad. So Brett triples with 1 away. The infield is going to play in on the right side. They'll play halfway on the left side. Alexander to work off the stretch. Here's the pitch. Fly ball, right center field. Juan Benitez goes over and makes the catch. He can throw. Here's Brett going to try to score. The throw to the plate. Safe. Tie game. Drives in his 43rd run with his 7th sacrifice fly. And the Royals have finally caught the Rangers here in the bottom of the 8th. It's a 1-1 ball game. Here is Pete Lecoq. Pete, 2 out of 3. The only time he was retired, a wicked line drive to first. That's ball outside, ball 1. The Royals, lying in the bushes all night, finally jumped out at Alexander here in the bottom of the 8th. The 1-0 pitch popped up. That should end the inning. Toby Harrah, the third baseman, moving toward the foul line, across the foul line to make the catch. And that ends it. But the Royals, with a triple and a sacrifice fly, have tied it. 1 run on 1 hit. Nobody left. And after 8, it's the Rangers 1 and the Royals 1.
After 6 innings of play, the Yankees lead the Twins 2-0. A couple of rain delays, Baltimore at Chicago and Boston at Milwaukee. New York Yankees and their fans are wondering if the Jackson storm has abated or if this is just the lull before another storm. Wednesday, Jackson told his agent, Matt Marola, he will return to the team when his 5-day suspension ends Sunday, and principal owner George Steinbrenner and President Al Rosen are downplaying the latest episode in the Reggie saga. We'd like Reggie to be back in uniform on Sunday, get a couple of starts in and get going, and come back to Yankee Stadium and put it on, said Rosen. Steinbrenner said he was not pointing the finger at any individual. He only wanted the players to understand that this is an organization. Everybody has a boss. With Thurman Munson on first base Monday night, Martin ordered Jackson to bunt at the first pitch, then swing away. While Jackson, slumping and reduced to part-time DH status, bunted foul 3 times for strikeout. Martin angrily pulled him from the game and suspended him. Martin's anger, forecasting the storm on the horizon, has not abated. As of Wednesday, the Yankee skipper was nowhere near as pleasant as Rosen and Steinbrenner. Said, Martin, I had to do what I did, or I wouldn't have lost, or I would have lost the whole team. I couldn't let him get away in what he did. A lot of guys in this club who don't like Reggie. They might not tell you about it, but they'll tell me. If I had allowed him to get away with what he pulled, I would have lost them all.
Well, it's some ball game, 1-1 into the 9th inning. For the Rangers, it'll be Jim Sundberg, Al Oliver, and Bobby Bonds. Sundberg is 1 out of 3, an infield single that drove in the Texas run back in the 3rd inning. The line by Leonard in the pitch. Slider inside, ball 1. Since Jim Sundberg singled in the 3rd inning, the Texas Rangers have just 1 hit. A single by Bump Wills in the 5th. Sundberg foul tipped, and the count 1-1. So the Rangers 2 hits in the 1st inning, 2 hits for their run in the 3rd, and since the 3rd, only the single by Bump Wills to lead off the 5th. That's how good Leonard has been since. Foul tipped and a fastball. Then it's 1-2. Leonard's control has been every bit as good as Doyle Alexander's, save it for the 1st inning. Leonard has walked just 1 man. The 1-2 pitch. Slider struck him out. He fouled just 3 pitches. So Sundberg a strikeout victim, a half a dozen now for Dennis. And here is Al Oliver. Al singled in the 1st. Since then he has struck out and flied to center. Al with 9 home runs. Foul ball back to the screen, 0-1. Now Roboski begins to loosen up in the Royal bullpen. Here's the 1-strike pitch. Fastball is high, in the count 1-1. Of course, you talk about home runs, and that's one of the big problems for Leonard this year, but not lately. Fouled away, 1-2. Leonard has given up just 1 home run in his last 6 starts. 20 for the year. That he seems to have shaken that bugaboo, at least for the last 2 or 3 weeks. 1-2, the count on Al Oliver. 1-1 in the 9th. Darrell Porter drops down a sign. Leonard nods his approval. Into the windup he goes in the pitch. Fastball away, and it's 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, base is empty. And the 2-2 pitch to Al Oliver hit on his hands, and he fouls it back and out of play. So Leonard tried to jam him. Two balls, 2 strikes. Oliver hit .308 for the Pirates last year. It's a good hitter. Ground ball foul past third base coach Pat Corrales, and it almost got him. He really had to take evasive action. 2-2. Oliver last year Oliver, the 9th leading hitter in the National League. Lifetime batting average, .296. So he is most capable. Breaking ball popped up, shallow left field. Everybody chasing it. It's going to be in for a base hit. And now it takes an erratic hop across the foul line, and Oliver dashing into second base with a one-out double. Leonard has not been a lucky pitcher tonight. Anything but. Al Oliver jammed, hit a little dying quail just over shortstop. And it finally came to rest in shallow left field with George Brett, Tom Poquette, and Freddie Patek all in futile pursuit. So there's the go-ahead run in scoring position with just one out. And Bonds and Ziff, big RBI men, coming up in an RBI spot. So Oliver, as he was last night, 2 for 4 here tonight. The stretch and the pitch. Slider lifted to center field and deep. Oliver will tag at second. Otis fading back. Under the ball, makes the catch. Oliver coming toward third. The throw to third will not be in time. They made it close. The fine throw from Amos Otis. Brett tried to lull Oliver to sleep. George was standing on the bag, arms at his side, and acting as if the throw were nowhere near the bag. And then at the last moment, he snatched the throw and tried to put the tag on Oliver. But Al got there, and here's this. Ziff tonight has grounded to shortstop twice, and he is struck out. A pressure ball game. And you might consider for a moment the pressure on a Richie Ziff, who signed $1 million pact. Well, he's expected to drive in this run. Fastball inside, ball one. Ziff last year drove in 101 for the White Sox. The infield back, of course, with 2 down. They're shaded to left. The go-ahead run at third, 2 away in the 9th. Leonard's pitch. Slider popped him up. Pete LaCock in foul territory, calling for it, and he's got it. So Leonard made a great pitch to Ziff. He got Bonds and Ziff after Oliver's double. No runs, 1 hit, a man left. We go to the bottom of the 9th, tied 1-1.
Well, that ball game at Milwaukee.
The bottom of the 9th inning, it is 1-1, and the Royals need a run to win it. Minnesota's Darrell Porter and Clint Hurdle coming to the plate. Amos tonight 0 for 2. He walked in the 4th inning. He's also bounced into a 4th, grounded into a double play. The Yankees got 1 in the 9th. The Twins batting in the bottom of the 9th. It is New York 4, Minnesota nothing. Doyle Alexander's gone all the way. The windup in the pitch. Slider on the outside corner, strike 1. In case you're thinking home run, Amos Otis has 14. Doyle Alexander has allowed 13. No balls and 1 strike. To allow 13 home runs, that would be high on the Texas pitching staff. The 0-1 delivery. Shane just lifted into center. He didn't allow him to pull the ball. Back goes Benitez. Under the ball now, makes the catch. And there's 1 away. So Alexander, through a change, Otis is a great off-speed hitter. Then Alexander kept it out away from him. Didn't allow Otis to pull the ball. So there's 1 away, and here's Darrell Porter. Darrell has grounded to the pitcher, popped to the shortstop, and started the 7th inning with a double. 26,620 looking on tonight. And boy, they're seeing quite a ball game. How about you tomorrow night, or Saturday or Sunday? The Boston Red Sox will be in. Monday night, the Yankees. Tuesday night, the Yankees. Darrell taking his time before climbing in. The Royals have only 2 home runs off Texas pitching this year. Changed on a breaking ball and threw it low, ball 1. Tom Poquette and George Brett have the home run. runs. And they were both hit down in Arlington, Texas. Darrell, a bouncing ball to first baseman Mike Hardrow. Mike brings it to the bag and records the out. So Clint Hurdle bats with the bases empty, 2 down.
The right fielder.
Clint Hurdle tonight 0 for 3. The outfield straightaway. Doyle Alexander to the windup. Here's the pitch. Low and outside, ball 1. When the game started, the wind was drifting in from left center. Not much of a wind, but at the moment, the flags atop the pole in left are limp. Ball 2 missed outside just barely. And Doyle Alexander looks in questioningly at plate umpire Dale Ford. 2-0 to Clint, so he has the advantage. In comes the pitch, and it's smashed into center field for a base hit. Boy, he drilled it. So there's the winning run at first, and here's Tom Poquette. Tommy tonight, 1 out of 3, and now here comes Willie Wilson to run for Clint Hurdle as Tom Poquette steps in. Let's pause here for station identification. This is the Royals Radio Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
SCN Canal Zone.
Denny Matthews along with Fred White and producer engineer Ed Shepard at Royal Stadium. The game is tied 1-1, bottom of the ninth. Runner at first, 2 out. And that runner at first is Willie Wilson. Willie Wilson with 30 stolen bases. He has been caught 8 times. Willie, though, here facing quite a test. It is a 2-part test. Doyle Alexander on one side, Jim Sundberg on the other, pitcher and catcher. The first pitch, a fastball outside, ball 1. Doyle Alexander holds runners on very well. Amos Otis found out all about that in the 4th inning when Alexander picked him off. We all know how Sundberg can throw. As well, if not better, than any catcher in baseball. Willie Ali draws the throw and dances back to the bag. So we'll see if Willie takes the test, then we'll see if Willie can pass the test. 1 ball, no strikes on Tom Poquette. One thing that Tom knows, he is apt to see fastballs. So to first, back in time is Willie Wilson. Alexander has a good, quick move over to first. 1-1 in the ninth. 1-0, Willie a lead. A bigger lead, dancing around, not going, and Tom Poquette a ground ball up the middle. Base hit to center. Willie around second. He's going to try for third. Here's Pace. Tom Poquette grounds a single up the middle. Out comes Texas manager Billy Hunter. The batter will be Freddie Poptek. Runners at first and third, 2 away. And now the winning run just 90 feet away. Reggie Cleveland throwing out in the Texas bullpen. Billy Hunter wanting to know one thing right now, exactly how Alexander feels. And you have the distinct feeling that he wasn't about to take Alexander out unless Doyle just said, I'm totally finished. This is his ball game. He's gone this far. And he should be able to either win it or lose it for himself. Now Poptek is being called back. And out comes Steve Braun, a left-hand batter. Steve Braun hitting .232. He has 3 home runs and 20 RBIs. One of his 3 home runs hit against the Texas Rangers while he was playing for the Seattle Mariners. Braun is 3 out of 20 against Texas, a homer and 3 RBIs. Tom Poquette at first, Willie Wilson at third. 2 out in the bottom of the ninth. So it will take the base hit. Braun batting for Patek. They want Al Oliver, the left fielder, to come in. They're moving Beniquez in and over toward right center a little more, and now Beniquez holding out his arms as if to say, have I moved far enough? Steve Braun, left-hand batter. Alexander checking signs. Runners lead away. Here's the stretch in the pitch. He was going to bunt, and there goes Poquette to second. He's unchallenged. Of course, his run is meaningless. The pitch outside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strike. Frank White next. First base is open now. Here comes the pitch. Line drive left field. In comes Oliver. Base hit. The Royals win it. The Royals cleared out of the dugout to congratulate Steve Braun. So they moved Al Oliver in, but not far enough. And Braun's sinking line drive fell about 3 feet in front of him. And Willie Wilson came dashing across the plate. And the Royals, with 1 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th, have swept the 2-game series. Final score tonight, Royals 2, Rangers 1, and we'll be back right after this.
The win by Kansas City gives them 50 wins and 41 losses. California started the evening a half game behind. And checking California, I don't believe they were playing. They were not playing tonight. So the Angels are idle. So now the Royals go up by 1 game on California. They're 3.5 ahead of third place Oakland, and by defeating Texas, they're now 4.5 in front of the Rangers in that American League West. There's a final score in from Bloomington, Minnesota. Ron Guidry pitched a 4-hitter tonight to notch his 14th victory, and Thurman Munson, Mike Heath, and Mickey Rivers single-in runs, pacing the New York Yankees to a 4-0 victory over Minnesota, which handed the Twins their 8th straight loss. Guidry, who has lost only once, struck out 8, walked 3, and posting his 3rd shutout and 7th complete game of the season. The Yankees jumped on rookie pitcher Darrell Jackson, who's now 2-3 for 2 runs in the first inning. Back-to-back singles by Willie Randolph and Mickey Rivers, and Munson's ground single to left produced 1 run. An error by third baseman Larry Wolf on Lou Pinella's grounder loaded the bases, and Jackson committed a balk, allowing Rivers to score. The rally ended when Munson was tagged out in an attempted steal of home. Brett Stanley doubled in the 7th, scored on Heath's single. The Yankees scored their final run of the 9th, and a run-scoring single by Rivers. Again, the final from Bloomington, Minnesota. The New York Yankees behind Ron Guidry shut out the Minnesota Twins 4-zip.
26,620 saw a tremendous ball game here tonight. The Royals with the run in the 8th to tie it, and 1 in the 9th to win it. The Rangers took a 1-0 lead in the 3rd inning when Campaneris led off the inning with a solid double into the left field corner. And 2 outs later, Jim Sundberg jammed at a slow roller to Brett. George let the ball roll, thinking it might go foul. That was his only chance. But it stayed there, and the Rangers had what was to be their only run. The Royals waited until the 8th inning. And then they finally broke through against Doyle Alexander. And ironically enough, that same pattern prevailed when Alexander faced the Royals on June the 8th down in Arlington, Texas. He had given the Royals just 1 run into the 7th inning. They picked up 2 hits but no runs. And then doubles by George Brett and Hal McRae produced a run, and Alexander was lifted in favor of left-hander Roger Moret. The Rangers, though, held on to win, but not tonight. In the 8th inning this evening with 1 out, George Brett tripled into the right field corner. The ball hit by Brett just got over the glove of first baseman Mike Hargrove and just did settle into fair territory down the right field line. Al McRae then hit a sacrifice fly into right center to tie the game. Then in the 9th, after Alexander retired the first 2 men, Amos Otis on a fly to center, Darrell Porter on a ground ball to first. Clint Hurdle single. In to run went Willie Wilson. And Willie went from first to third on Tom Poquette's ground ball up the middle. That set the stage for Steve Braun. And Steve, batting for Freddie Patek, lined a single into left field just in front of Al Oliver. And we had just mentioned the fact that they had asked Al Oliver to move in a number of steps, which he did. They had moved Beniquez in and over toward right center. But Oliver, had he come in 2 or 3 more steps, would have made the play. But those 2 or 3 feet made all the difference. The ball settled in front of Oliver, and the Royals had a tremendous come-from-behind 2-1 victory over the Texas Rangers.
Kansas City will remain at home, and the Red Sox invade Royal Stadium on Friday night. Meanwhile, Texas will be playing a game at home in Arlington, Texas, a new series against the invading Milwaukee Brewers. This broadcast was authorized on the rights granted by the Texas Rangers and Kansas City Royals. It was intended solely for the entertainment of the AFRTS listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the description and accounts of this game without the express written permission of the Rangers and Royals is prohibited. And our thanks to Royals broadcasters Denny Matthews and Fred White for their description of the ball game from Royal Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. This is Del Burnett speaking on behalf of Ralph Bartlett. Our engineer tonight, final score again, Kansas City 2, Texas 1. This has been a presentation of AFRTS Sports in Washington. This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.